So I've had a lot of people who are getting ready to sell their business ask me like what can actually trip up a deal? Like as you get into it, what is the kind of thing that can blow up a deal for no good reason? And I would say the number one thing that I've seen as a major problem for people, this may seem a little strange, is inconsistent reporting in their financial records. So let's say a potential buyer asks you for your, month end closing report. And so you send that to them from the most recent month end. And then a week or two later, they ask you for some kind of update on your sales of certain products by, at each month end for several months, and you send them that report. And when you add up all the sales on the sales report, it doesn't tie to the sales number in the, financial statement that you sent them at the beginning. And the potential buyer is going to notice this. They're going to say, why is there a discrepancy? And you'll say, oh, because, the sales comes from this one system and it doesn't feed into the other system. And so there's this manual entry process in the back and we have to clean things up. And so the numbers don't add up. It's all logical. This happens all the time, by the way, in businesses that are operated on a private basis. The problem is now the buyer doesn't know what to believe. They don't know if the numbers are actually reliable. And even if they've done a quality of earnings assessment, having an independent company come in and do that analysis, they're going to be very nervous about the systems and the data that's going to get ported into their system at closing. And it can totally screw up a transaction because trust between the parties is actually a critical component of getting an M&A transaction done. And when you start sending different numbers and different reports, you really mess with that. So I encourage potential sellers as they're looking at a transaction to clean up their act, to make sure they understand exactly what feeds into what. And if they have to use a system that doesn't tie to another system, to explain it even before they deliver it to the buyer, so the buyer knows what they're looking at and doesn't have these, concerns about inconsistencies in the data.